Take two.
Take two. Wingardium Leviosa.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Ready?
Oh.
Expelliarmus. Take three.
Bloody hell, mate.
No, Hamora. Take four.
Victoria.
God. Bloody hell, mate.
I've run out of spells if we do another one.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Sam.
My name is Amirza.
Hi,
And welcome back to the Chat Fam podcast.
Yay!
All right. So we have a special guest today, Skye.
Yay!
And today we're just going to be talking more about Asian superstitions, so ghosts and supernatural beings. So before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys, if you're on YouTube, please press that subscribe button and keep posted on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcast. All right. So Skye, introduce yourself.
Well, I guess my name is Skye. I'm 22. Currently work with Samara, so that's how I met her.
Yes.
And yeah, we've been working together for 3 months now.
Yay!
Yay!
And then, like, what are your hobbies? What's your background?
My hobbies, I like to play a lot of video games, of course.
Oh, same as these guys.
Yeah.
What video games?
Play basic Dauntless, RPG, Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Does all the main stuff. Yeah, cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And also into cars. Like recently, I just got a new car, so I'm just looking at car parts.
Really?
Oh, really?
What,
Yeah.
Subaru, WRX?
Tell the story.
Oh, it was so funny because we weren't even discussing it with each other before. So we're just like, oh, look at this car I'm looking at. And then we're like, wait a minute. We're both looking at the same car.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh no.
And then I was like, oh, this is the listing that I'm looking at. So I showed her and she's like, no way. That's the car that I'm seeing
put it in the
tomorrow.
same
And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell?
Wow, that's such a
So, yeah.
coincidence.
Crazy,
Yeah,
I
and she
know.
ended up getting that listing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats.
What colour is it?
It's black.
Ooh.
Yeah. Have to get it
Nice.
black.
Manual or
It's
automatic?
clean. Automatic.
Okay.
I gotta learn how to drive manual.
So do we.
Manual. I told these guys if when I get my car, I'll be teaching them.
Yes, teach
Yes.
us.
Yeah.
Teach manual.
Teach all you guys. Oh, mate. All right. So, well, I don't think you mentioned that your background is Singaporean
And Australian.
And so pretty much you had an experience growing up as an Asian.
Yeah.
You grew up mostly in Australia, right?
Yeah, mostly in Australia.
And how did you feel? Like, did you grow up with Asian friends as well? Like, what was your upbringing like?
At first, because actually I was born in WA in Perth, and so
didn't even know
at
that.
at that time it was not a lot of Asians around. So back
yeah.
in primary school, I was like
Sure.
basically only 2 Asians in the class, myself
Wow.
and another. So yeah, until I moved to Sydney, which is a bit more multicultural, so I met a lot of other people who are Asians as well, people I can relate to, so it'll make it a lot easier and comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you grow up in the same area as Samara as well? Like in...
Yeah, I'd say so. It was Southwest Sydney.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
around
sweet.
that place. Yeah.
And did you feel like, relating back to the episodes about superstitions, did you feel like you grew up with those kind of superstitions, like from your family members or anything?
Yeah,
like
I'd say my mum was made a big influence, like especially because she believes in ghosts. She can see ghosts, and she
Yeah.
always tells us during a certain time of the night to close all the doors, make sure all the windows are closed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What
Not-
time?
Around 5-6 o'clock when the sun goes down.
Oh.
yes,
when the
that's
sun
so
goes,
fun.
not to play any music or whistle, things like that.
The whistling.
Yeah, the whistling apparently.
Do your parents say that too?
Not to whistle?
My mum doesn't let me whistle in the house.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what time of the day it is.
Well, I'm going to whistle in your house then.
You'll be opening all the windows and doors.
I don't give a fuck.
You come to my house on sundown, it's like, fuck out of here.
Door to the window.
Oh my god. That's so interesting though. Did she explain to you like why?
No, she just have these superstitions. It's like, just don't do it at all. If someone's going to come into the house, you're going to welcome something into the house. Yeah. things
So your
like
mum's
that.
really onto this, like,
Yeah, she
superstition.
actually is, yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, it reminds me of my mum too. How to what extent are your parents with like superstitions like that? Like especially more like spiritual world and stuff like
I
that.
don't think my mum cares, to be honest.
Really?
I can just leave the window wide open.
Oh
like,
my god!
at Devil's Hour, 3 a.m. So I was like, I don't give a shit. So
What's Devil's Hour?
You never heard of Devil's Hour?
No.
3 a.m.
Is it actually? I've never
You don't
heard
have
of
to
it.
heard that too? Bro, you listen to metal. What are you talking about?
I've never heard of it before.
Well, why
it's
is
well known. Like I know
very
everyone.
well
yeah.
known.
why is
But I
it
don't
3
know.
a.m.?
I don't know
It's
because
just-
everyone wakes up at that time.
Because they
Yeah.
say that 3 a.m. is the time where like the devil is the most active, like or like if there's any portals anywhere,
Yeah.
like where spirits and like demons can come through, that's their most like active time. I don't know why they also call it the witch's hour as
Yeah.
well. So I whenever like back then when I used to stay up late, I remember if I had woken up at 3 a.m. I'd be so scared. I'd be like, oh my god, I need to sleep before 3 a.m. or the witches will come get me.
I remember like a couple of nights ago, I woke up at around 3 a.m. I was like, oh shit, I need to go back to sleep now.
yeah.
Even though I don't give a shit, to be honest. So I
Yeah,
was just
like we don't like I'm. I would say that I'm kind of superstitious. I guess I woke up with like not necessarily my dad, but my mum, who's very superstitious. Because she apparently has the sixth sense. What was my point?
I don't know, to be honest.
I mean, even though I'm not superstitious. Like I do things like that. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
cautious.
yeah,
about
you're cautious,
things
but
like
you're
that.
like, yeah,
cautious.
whatever.
That's the word. Yeah,
Yeah.
cautious. So, yeah. So, do you find that you're superstitious?
I feel like because I've never really like experienced like any like
Yeah.
superstitions. I still believe in it. It's just like I don't have any experience. Like
You've never
a lot
experienced
of it. Yeah, a lot of
Kind
it
of
to
like
like understand.
The case of seeing is believing until you
Yeah,
experience
exactly right,
it
yeah.
I agree, yeah.
is when
Yeah.
you're like, okay, then I
definitely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very Asian thing.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
Asian thing. But do you feel like other cultures have that kind of thing as well?
No. I don't think white people are as superstitious, are they?
Maybe your dad's Australian.
Yeah.
So what's his stance on that stuff?
He basically believes what my mom says.
Oh, he
Sometimes-
does? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, sometimes he freaks out a little bit too
Oh
when
my
she's like says the
God.
things that she sees something and he's like, oh, okay, I'm not going to go into that room anymore.
But did
Yeah,
he,
that sort of thing.
has he ever talked about believing that before he met your
No,
mum?
I don't
No?
think so. There's a lot of things that my dad actually learned from my mom and like started to believe in things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Afterwards.
All right. Yeah, so going into our experiences, any ghost stories that you guys have? Have you had any experiences, even if it's minor? We'll start with you, Oya. Any experiences at all?
No, Skye should go first.
Me?
You want Skye to
Yeah.
go first?
Okay.
I feel like she'd have good ones.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All of it. Okay, so it's actually when I moved to New South Wales. So we lived in this quite a big acreage block, and it was quite a big house. So we lived there for like about a year. And my mum never said anything, but every time she would walk past my door frame, it was always in my room. She would just stare like right in the corner of the room, like towards the roof. And she would never say anything until I call her name, like, Mom, are you okay? And she's like, she would snap out of it suddenly, and she's like, yeah, it's nothing. And then she walked by. It happened like a few times. This is one time she also walked past the door frame, and I didn't say a word. And then she said, did you say something, Skye? And I'm like, no, I didn't say anything. And she walked away. She's like, oh, stuff. Oh my god.
Oh
And then
God.
the time that we moved out, there was something in that room that was like really like riled up, and it didn't want me to leave. So Mom's like, don't ever go back into that room after we've taken everything out. And then also the weird thing with that house, all of my pets passed away. Like we had
What?
we had birds, we had my cat, that we had for ages, like years upon years. He passed away. We had fish that passed away. It's like crazy. It's really weird.
Wow. Wait, where was the house located, did you say?
It's in Leppington. It's like a really rural type area.
But why did your mum find out about what's
What
like
kind
in
of?
that? Yeah.
I'm not kind of sure, but actually, there's another experience in the same house that I also forgot to mention. My brother records a lot of videos as well for his gaming. He used to do.
Sorry, I just pictured paranormal activity. You know how they record. Anyway,
Yeah.
So he was recording for like an audio for one of his videos. So he records it, and there's like his voice. So like the thing that will show his voice, and then there's a separate part of it that's like obviously not his voice. So he's like, oh, what's this? He plays it, and apparently it says, I can see you, or I can hear you.
Stop it.
Yeah. And then
Really?
he thought he was tripping, so he showed my dad, and then he's like, oh, no, that's really something else in that room there.
That's chat.
Oh
Yeah,
my
it is.
god.
Yeah, it's
That
pretty
is
chat.
chat.
Wow, that's so creepy.
Ew.
Yeah. Yuckies.
Wait, this is a different house.
It's the same house.
Oh, it's the same house.
Yeah, so apparently
So
it's
it
a
must
lady.
be that house.
Yeah, so that house itself has got something.
Why is that?
living.
Because I know Liberton, there's not that many, like, it's a new area, so...
Kind of like a new area.
Like, in the
but-
past, it was, like, farmland and...
Yeah.
I mean, it
But-
could be like, or for if you do believe in spirits, it could be like a spirit that had lived in that area.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Previously.
Yeah, they're still
perhaps.
lurking around. So
Or maybe something buried.
I believe in that kind of
Exactly,
stuff where
yeah.
maybe like nearby it could have
Because-
been someone like a spirit who is still lurking around that area that's lived ages ago. So
Yeah.
It's such a big spot, so I don't know what could have happened anywhere throughout the whole
Jeez.
like land.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We buried all of our pets in the same land, and
did you do any like research or like research?
Yeah,
on,
researching
like,
that.
on like the house or in the
No, I've
area
never
what's
did,
happening.
yeah.
Or did you
I've
kind of
Find
reach out to that ghost?
Yeah.
Or
no,
did
I don't think I would
anyone-
ever want to reach out to the ghost.
Have you have
Like,
you ever
follow
done
me.
like Ouija board?
No, I've never tried it before.
I would never.
I would never do.
My mum would slap me
I'm
across the
I'm
face.
oh,
man.
that too.
That's like asking for it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
asking for it, yeah.
Ooh,
Basically.
never.
Yeah. Dang.
What about you guys?
Yeah, how about you guys?
Well, I have an experience. Well, actually, no. It's not really... well...
Here we go. When it comes to Mirza, his stories are just like, he'll think it's not like a big story. When he talks about it, it's like, what the fuck?
No, well, it's not really superstitions or whatever, but... I think did I talked about this? But
I don't know, mate.
I don't know. I forgot.
Exorcism?
Not exorcism,
Okay.
but it happened in Specsavers.
What? Wait, there's
Oh my god, Mirza!
Yeah. What?
I think I know about this story. I think you've told me before.
Yes.
It's in the pre-test room, right?
Oh
Or
my
the
God.
back
She's
room.
like, I work there. Don't tell me.
It was like.
Was it in Campbelltown?
Yeah, like Campbelltown. It was
Okay.
behind. It was behind a counter. Anyways, I'll explain this story. So, in a way, I'm kind of into like supernatural. Like, I believe I kind of have like kind of have powers. I guess.
He does.
About-
Like a sense about
A sense,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
sense.
Like he's
about
got a
it.
sense for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
You're not Iron Man, okay?
All right. Shrink your head there.
Yeah, calm
mate.
down,
Shrink
mate.
your head. Calm down.
Spider-Man now.
anyways, so one of the optoms in Specsavers was walking towards me, and for some reason, I just saw a bright aura, like a bright light around his body, and I was like to him, "Stop! You have way too much energy, like coming towards me." And then I kind of sensed something was happening with him. I was like, "You have such good energy, like good vibes, like something very good happened to him." And I was like to him, "You have a girlfriend now." And he was like, "How do you know?" "I haven't told anyone, like literally no one."
What?
And I was like, "I don't know, I just felt something, like
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
Okay, so you can feel energies,
Mi-
like...
yeah.
I can never escape him. If something's happened to me, something bad, and I try and act like I put a mask on and I try and act cool about it,
Yep.
he'll be like, "Stop, Sam. What's wrong with you?" He'll always say that.
You
I'm
will
like,
know.
"Fuck, I can't hide from
Like
you."
I know when someone is like something straight away, like even though they're very happy, I'm just like, no, there's something about you is just like you're not happy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they pretend to, like you hide it, but I know something else is happening with
Something else.
you. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Bloody Mirza.
I've got more stories.
Oh, bloody hell, here we go.
So my brother went to Indonesia a couple of years ago, I think, and he's really into like ghosts, like to a point where he likes teasing ghosts to
What?
just
Teasing
like teasing ghosts to like come at him.
Oh, okay. I thought he meant like I saw a ghost and haha, you have see-through skin. I don't know.
That's what I think he's
Not bullying ghosts.
You said tease.
Not in that way.
Okay, well, Skye was on the same page as me. Okay?
You're a ghost, not me.
That's the first thought. Like, fine. Bullying ghosts.
Anyways,
Racist
so
ghosts.
he went to the most haunted place in Indonesia, like a house. I forgot what the name was, but
I've been to it. I don't know what
Is
it
it
is
the
either.
Pondok
But
Indah place?
It's a it's it's a palace.
It's fine.
No, it's fine. It's closed.
Oh, okay.
What-
Oh, imagine if that was. Oh my god.
Oh wait,
that's so bad.
superstitious stuff happens right now. I mean, okay.
Astaghfirullah.
Oh no,
Anyway,
don't. Bismillah.
what was I saying? Oh no, it's a palace.
Yes, it's a palace, yeah.
That I think to this day a prince, like it's the royal family's palace, so it's obviously a very old building. And they say that a lot of spirits, especially since it was at the time where the Dutch used to rule Indonesia, and obviously there was a lot of killings and everything, and lots of massacres. So there's a lot of spirits around that area.
Yes.
So yeah, they say it's haunted.
As I was saying, so my brother was taking photos, and he really wanted to catch a ghost in one of the photos, and he actually did. So he took a picture in the hallway, and
Very long hallway.
very long, and when you see the photo, we'll insert the photo
So
at the bottom.
right
Yeah.
here.
You see a foot behind his foot, and my brother did say, well, he said that no one was behind him, like no one at all. It was just him and the photographer, and that's it. So it was basically a foot right next to him.
So someone was following him.
So
Yeah.
it's him
Behind.
standing in the middle of the corridor. I've
Yeah.
seen the photo, and there's like an actual
Foot,
foot,
just sticking
another
out.
foot, like
Yeah.
a third
Just
foot sticking
sticking
out
out.
from behind him.
Yeah.
It's a proper shoe as well.
It's
like
a
you can
proper
see.
shoe. You can see it.
Was it like, what's the word? Like transparent, kind of, or was
Hey, it's a bit
A
blurry.
little
It's a
bit.
little bit blurry.
But
So
you
was
can
it-
actually see the shoe. It's like physically you can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No one else was wearing that type of shoe either
Yeah.
at the
Yeah,
time.
no. There was no one behind him.
That's really spooky.
There was no one behind
Oh,
him.
I can't wait to see the
Yeah.
photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
this photo too.
So that happened, and also there's another story. I was in.
1 minute he's like, oh, I might have a story next minute.
I wasn't born yet, but my family keeps telling me the story, and some other people. But apparently, when my brother was young, they were staying at my grandparents' house, and apparently my grandparents' house was haunted. And brother loves teasing. He goes like, ha ha ha, please get me, get me, get me. And then apparently my brother Chris, he got pushed back to the wall
Ew.
By like,
by the
Like
ghost.
a force.
Like a force, like a big force.
it sounds like Star Wars. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No, it was just like with his Iron Man powers.
And yeah, that apparently happened to him. So
That's chat.
yeah.
Oof.
But yeah, that's all my stories.
Wow.
Are you sure?
I might have more stories, but
Oh
that's
my
it for now.
The end.
the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, we'll insert the photo.
Yeah, insert the photo.
But how about you, Samara?
Oh,
Here we go.
I've been saving up the story for a while. Well, I'll start off with a couple of stories first before I get to the big story, because I don't have experiences, but my mum, like I said, my mum has most of the experiences. So she's told me, I think the first story that I know about her experiences was when she gave birth to Nadia. So Nadia is my older sister, and where was she born again? I forgot what hospital, but it's the room that she was staying in was apparently haunted, but my mum didn't know this yet. So when she went to sleep in the middle of the night, she got woken up by this figure at the foot of her bed, and apparently it was so tall that she couldn't see its head, so it went through the roof, and it was like an ogre, like it had not an ogre, a big, like a Bigfoot. So
Like
it was
Slender Man?
very 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 hairy.
Oh, okay.
And it was at the foot of her bed, shaking her bed.
Oh.
Like this. So she was literally shaking in her bed. She's like, "What the fuck?" So she tried
she
to
say
go back.
those exact
She didn't even
words?
do that.
What the fuck?
What the?
Imagine. What the fuck?
Underneath that.
Better not be saying those words, man. She's not watching anyway. Anyway, yeah, she said, "What the fuck?" No, I'm joking. And then she tried to go back to sleep, so she put her head like under the covers, and then she eventually fell back asleep. I don't know how any normal human being. I know that I'd be shitting in my pants. But the next day, nothing else happened. So when she got discharged, she asked the nurse, "Hey, is there something up with this room?" And the nurse is like, have you been having any experiences?
Oh, stop it.
And then she's like, what? And she's like, the nurse was apparently, I think she have been Indo or she's some sort of Asian. But she was like, yeah, a lot of people do complain about this specific room. Like supernatural shit. Well, I was like, great, thanks for putting me in this room. But yeah, no, apparently throughout my mum's life, she's always been seeing that same figure. So a big, tall figure that's been following her around. So she's seen it in Indonesia as well. So it's not only at a certain place, it follows her. So she's seen it in Pondok Labu in Jakarta, where my grandmother lives. I don't know if she's seen it anywhere else. I don't think she's seen it at my house, but I don't know if she has because she thinks I'm so scared. I used to be such a scaredy cat before, but now I'm just like, whatever. But yeah, she wouldn't tell me this shit. So...
Maybe it's just traumatized from that experience. That
Maybe.
she feel like she sees it everywhere.
Maybe, yeah. Well, apparently my house had been haunted for a while.
Your one now?
My one now. So I've had this one experience, and this has been, I think, twice now, where I've heard like a very loud on my door. Like very clearly 3 knocks. 12 a.m. at night, I'd be like watching YouTube. It's like a weekend, and I'd be like, who the hell's up? I'd open the door and no one would be there. Everyone's asleep, lights are off. And I'm like, okay. And do you guys remember when I went to the Philippines last year in about April? So apparently when I was gone, do you remember where I used to have 2 tall palm trees?
Yes.
Have you noticed they're gone now?
Yes.
That's because apparently there's this auntie that I know that's come over to our house before, and when she visited our house, she came out of the car, tried to go into the house, and she immediately started screaming. And she was like, I don't want to go in. She ran back into the car. And then my mom didn't tell me until like a couple months after I came back from the Philippines, but this was when I was gone. So apparently she had seen like a demon of some sort hanging about in the palm tree of our house. No. And apparently he had big horns, and he was like very like maniacal, like his face was like just smiling and like trying to like, you know, scare her away. And she didn't want to go in the house. So being how my mum is, she paid her to get rid of the thing. I don't know to this extent if I believe this kind of shit, but yeah, apparently I don't know. She paid her to get rid of it.
What did the palm trees do?
I don't know, but do you know that's the thing in Indonesian? You know how so us Indonesians, we believe in different types of ghosts. There's one called kuntil anak, which is like have you heard of that?
I've heard of some.
Okay. There's a movie.
That one before.
There's a movie in Netflix. Yeah, there's a movie in Netflix about it. There's kuntil anak. There's tuyul, which is a little bald boy. There's pocong, which is a dead body and wrapped in the white. We've got different types of things, and apparently a lot of the Indonesian superstitions is that they're very they hang around a lot of trees,
right?
Trees,
I think,
so woods and anything like that. So that's I don't know. It's pretty freaky, but they got rid of it before I got home. So yeah, there's that. But the worst story that I have, and this is a really chat one, I can't believe that this has happened to me because, again, I've never had a personal experience. But I stayed over to shout out Pina, Uti, and Fero.
Your cat?
No, but...
Sorry.
Your cat. Just shout out to your cat.
Vero.
Oh, sorry.
Your cat?
He's gonna laugh at that. Yeah, because we always tease him and be like, hey, you're our cat. But yeah, they're brothers and sisters. Basically my dad's brother. So from my dad's brother. So we stayed at their house once, and I've never had an experience, but this house is a 3-story house. It's got a lot of antiques upstairs in the 3rd floor. We never go there. It's very dark. So I was staying with my cousin at the time. So just me and my cousin. I go to sleep, and I remember being asleep for about 15 minutes. I woke up to a door opening, and this girl casually pops her head in with very long hair for like 2 seconds and then closes the door. And then I'm like looking like, the fuck? So then I close the I don't close the door. I go back to sleep.
Yeah.
So the next morning we're having breakfast, And I start asking around naturally, hey, did any of you guys come into my room and like peek into the room? They're like, no. And I'm looking at everyone. I'm like, wait a minute. At that stage, all the girls that I was with, my cousins, my sister, all have short hair. So I'm like, I don't want to accept that I've seen something, but I do remember not remembering the face. I remember it just blank, like a white blank.
Right.
I don't know if that's my memory or if it's an actual ghost face that I saw, but I don't remember seeing a face, right? Okay, that was about 3-4 years ago. Fast forward to this year, my cousin Fero, Vero. You know my cat's name's Fero, right? Yeah. He was living here for some time, and then we were having dinner, and I'm telling him this story. I'm like, oh my god, you wouldn't believe the experience that I had at your house. And then I start talking about the girl, and he grabs my shoulders and starts shaking me. He goes, stop, shut up, stop, like, stop talking right now. And like, literally, he was saying it so loud that everyone was like, what the hell's happening? Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, don't tell me you saw a lady with long hair with no face. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm explaining to you. So he starts telling me this story of how he's been, ever since he's been living in this house, he's been seeing strands of hair on his bed. Long strands of hair. And he's always had this weird feeling in the hallway. So there's a hallway upstairs. There's everyone's bedrooms, so all the doors.
Yeah.
And then there's also a bathroom. So it's just one long corridor, right? So there was this one time where he woke up late at night. He's like, I need to go pee. So he goes in and he feels very uneasy at this stage. I told you this story already, right?
I believe so, yeah. It freaks me out.
Feels very uneasy. He doesn't want to look up. Goes into the bathroom, does his business. When he walks back out, get this, when he walks back out, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to look up. There's a chandelier, the ceiling's very tall. He sees a fucking chick hanging on the chandelier, and apparently her neck is so long that it's close to his face here. Not only that, she's fucking twirling her hair too. And he screams. He runs to his sister's room and wait, does he run into his sister? I don't remember after that, but basically he's confirming with me that he's seen the same spirit that I saw at the same place. And this is why this story is called Twirly Whirly. Or Curly Whirly.
Curly Whirly.
Shout out. Fucking Curly Whirly. Shout out to you. You gave me a big fright. Well, you gave my cousin a fright.
I was shouting out the chocolate bar.
Okay. Twirly Whirly. Yeah. But that's the worst.
Dang, that's story. So freaky.
Yeah. I made that very suspenseful, I think.
Like, especially when you have someone who reaffirms what you
exactly.
thought you witnessed.
4 years later, because I think I was 6 years. That happened in 2014?
Shit.
Yeah, 2014. And 4 years later, I tell him, and that just, for me, that confirms that we've seen the same thing.
Is there like a background story behind that girl?
Well, not apparently. My uncle keeps a lot of antiques upstairs, so Indonesian antiques. He keeps, you know the what's it called, the sword, the curly sword, the Twirly Whirly sword.
Wow, that's how she curls her hair.
Maybe it's the sword.
Oh my god, maybe it is the sword. Hey, because that sword, obviously they use that in war, so
got the blood of
a
people.
lot of people say that sword, and if you own that sword, it's like it's already cursed or it's already possessed with something, because it's very characteristic to Indonesian culture, and plus they used to lace it with poison, so even if you got sliced by, if you didn't get stabbed by it, you'd still die from the poison, so it's a very lethal weapon. So I don't know, it could be that, but he keeps other things upstairs, so
Wow.
maybe that's why she's hanging on the ceiling. Who knows?
Or maybe it's the chandelier.
Maybe it's the chandelier. Maybe it's the place. I don't know. But it's chat.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No
Wow.
thanks.
No, thanks. Have you had any experiences when you've gone to Singapore, stayed there? And
I've heard a lot of stories that I can't really remember, but there's always something Like, for example, there's like this, I don't know how to explain it. So the Chinese, they have something that they put on the road. It's like they give their offerings to like their past,
Oh yeah.
or they pass away. So apparently my mum walked past one and she saw this lady walking by, carrying something on her back. But she was like kind of translucent, so she didn't really like think it was a real lady. She's like, maybe she's carrying all these burdens when she passed away. So I don't know. There's like there's a whole bunch of weird things that even my auntie, like on the freeway, she would see something on the video, and then no one else has seen it.
Like in her car video, like the
Yeah,
car
she took
camera?
a video like through her phone when they were driving past. And it was just a man
I
walking like
see.
literally in the middle of the street, and there's cars going by, and then he's just still walking across the street.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, it's just some weird things going on out there.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, going off experiences in supernatural ways. Sorry, Singapore.
Does anyone watch that show, by the way?
Supernatural.
Yeah.
I've seen
I
it,
used
but-
to.
I've seen a bit of it.
Apparently it's good, right? No?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
later
it was
the
very
later
epic.
seasons.
Yeah.
is pretty.
Bro, my English today.
Are you alright?
No.
Well, just to let you guys know, it's been a pretty hot day today.
Yes.
Yes.
40 degrees.
40
I'm
degrees.
I'm
yeah.
losing my
Yeah,
brain
so if
cells.
we look chat, then
It's because we are.
it's the weather.
It's an interest. I just wanted to bring up this interesting topic about how Indonesians have different types of ghosts.
Yes.
I tried to think about other cultures that have different. Oh, there is we'll get into that in a moment. But like generally with Indonesians, we have like different kinds of spirits. So there's like tuyul, which is like a small bold boy.
Yeah, that one's weird.
I don't know where that stems from,
Me
but
neither.
but he's like, he doesn't have any clothes on except for like a cloth around his like private area, and they're technically they're usually very small. They run around, and there's like there's like multiples of them, and they come around and they
Like a
I don't
gang?
know, like
Like a gang?
like a what?
A gang.
Like a gang? Like a gang of them?
Yeah.
Like a gang of them. Yeah, they gang up on you and stuff
Tuyul
like
gang.
that. Yeah.
I don't know why, but I'd just
know.
laugh if I see them. It's like, what the heck is going on?
It's very weird. They look like little dolls, like, you know, running around.
Yeah.
I don't know where that belief or if they do exist, like where they're from.
Yeah.
So we've got tuyul, we've got kuntil anak. What is exactly, what does kuntil
Can you explain?
mean?
Do you know what it is? Or what?
What
Not
do you
exactly.
know about it? Because you've heard about it. Like, is there
I
anything you
feel like
know
the word's
about it?
familiar, but I don't think I know
You don't really
exactly.
know?
I
Isn't
think
it
the best
from
way
a-
to
you
describe
describe
it
yeah.
is like the ring chick. They look the same. It's the long hair, right?
Long
the long hair, the white
hair.
dress. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She's the Asian version, the Indonesian version, basically. But I don't know like where she came from.
So the reason why she's called, I don't know what kuntil means, but from the anak means child.
Yeah.
And kuntil anak is basically a spirit that's always yearning to look for her
Mum?
her child.
Ah.
So what the
So
folk
similarly
story
to the
is,
ring.
Yeah, the folk
Yeah.
story is that she would steal people's children. So
Oh,
that's kind of like La Llorona from the Spanish version of
yes.
that. Have you heard of that?
No, I've never heard of that one, though.
So she would be like a wailing woman that drowned her kids in the past, and then when she died, obviously, she became a spirit and felt like guilty about killing her kids. So she would actually go and apparently steal other people's children and drown them in the river. So it's kind of the same thing with Kuntil Anak. There is a famous movie in Netflix. There's been a couple of sequels of it where she stems from an antique mirror. So she'd go through the mirror and like lure children to the mirror and like take them through the mirror into the spiritual world. So that's what that movie's about. There's also Pocong,
Oh,
which is quite
No.
creepy. You know what it
I
is?
know what pocong is.
Yeah?
I don't
Do
like
you want to
pocong.
describe it?
Oh, it's just like wrapped in like fabric and it just hops everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just don't like that.
My
at all.
cousin's apparently seen one before.
No.
Stop it.
In
right
like
now.
like a lot of like trees, like there was this windy road that he was going up, and he just remembered looking to the left, and there was this figure that was next to a tree trunk, and he was in white, and his face was blank, but you could tell that it was all rotten, and he had that like you know how they tie it up at the top as well, and then it was just staring at him, and when he looked back, it was gone. So
Wow.
it's chat.
Well, just an FYI based on that. So, in Islam, when you pass away, we're not buried in coffins. We're just wrapped in cloth. So I think that's where,
We get returned to the earth.
right?
basically.
Yeah, and that's where that comes from. Like, the ghost is still in his cloth, I guess.
White.
Why do I always
Yeah.
picture dark circles? Is that like the black around the eyes? Is that thing related to Pocahontas?
I guess depending on the movie. that
Okay,
it's
yeah,
portrayed
maybe.
in.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
okay.
Do you guys know any other Indo?
I think that's it, eh?
There's
Not
one that's a
really.
pig. I remember.
Ew.
There's this game for any of you out there that know the game that's called. Oh, fuck. It's actually a very popular game worldwide, like internationally known. You would have heard about it. It's an Indonesian horror game about this girl, high school girl, and you have to you have to kill.
I think I've seen
Like,
it like.
through like a phone.
photos?
Yeah,
I think I've seen
like
a
I've heard of it before.
PewDiePie's.
Yeah.
Yes, he's
Yeah,
played
he
it.
played
He's
it,
played
yeah.
it.
Scary.
It's very scary. It's about it's in an Indonesian game,
Ew.
and
I
they
wouldn't play it.
explore all the Indonesian like ghosts. So you
Ghosts,
have like an encyclopedia, a ghostpedia
Yeah.
of like all the ghosts that you come across. And there was one that's like a pig, like a giant hog that like chases you.
What's it called? The game? You don't
I
remember?
forgot.
I'll put it up here. I'm pretty sure I'll find
Okay.
it. Sorry for anyone who's on the podcast. I'll put it up on the YouTube video. Of a photo of it or the name, but I'll figure it out later. But yeah, it's a very good game. Very, very freaky. Yeah. But yeah, it's just weird that like I can't think. Oh yeah, there is like Native Americans who believe in. Damn it! I should have done more research on this. Do you know that game called Before Dawn or something like that? It's
Sounds
Sounds
familiar.
really familiar.
Yeah.
where all
definitely.
of these young adults are living in the woods
No, I don't know. I forgot.
No.
until dawn.
I really-
Until dawn.
Until dawn.
Until dawn. You should know this game.
I've heard of the game, but I don't know
Yeah.
the story or background.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
so there's the Native American legend where if you practice cannibalism, then you become a Wendigo. That's what it's called. So a Wendigo is like you become like this cannibalistic beast. You're basically like this hairless creature that you look like a spider. Like you
Ew.
basically
Ew.
like your limbs get elongated and
It's
you get like
like,
you're like
That's
just
worse.
skin, no hair, and you like crawl around and you can
Wasn't
jump
there a movie,
everywhere.
A Quiet Place, like the monsters from there. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh
of.
yeah.
Well, they're a bit they're human sized, but they jump
okay.
around and but this game Until Dawn, I'm pretty sure most of you who are watching or listening will know about this game. This is a very, very big game about these group of friends stay in this cabin up in the woods, and one of the girls gets chased out of the house because something happens, some drama happens, and her sister follows after her. Basically, they wind up getting lost in the woods and they die. Basically, no, one of the sisters dies, and the other sister, to live, she eats her sister,
Oh my god.
and she
Oh.
becomes a Wendigo. So that awakens all the other Wendigos in the area, and basically they have to try and escape. And it's a story-based game where you make decisions, and based on your decisions, you can either save everyone or you can kill everyone.
Yeah, right.
So you're trying to prevent everyone's deaths. That's what it is. It's a story-based, like the Walking Dead game. You know, when it's just a choice-based game.
Choice-based game,
Something
yeah.
like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. But yeah, that's an example of like spiritual.
Is there any Australian ghosts?
I don't think.
What is an Australian ghost?
I don't know.
Ned Kelly.
Yeah.
Wait, he's a bush ranger.
I've heard of a lot of haunted places in Australia.
There are a lot, yeah.
Very famous places like prisons.
Yeah, the
like
tunnel.
prisons.
What's that tunnel?
There's a Helensburgh tunnel.
Helensburgh Tunnel, yeah.
Could be
I've
any
been there.
tunnel.
Yeah, I've been there too.
I've been
The Empire.
Empire Tunnel.
You got to
Through the Park Tunnel, there's just like a ghost run. I don't know.
Oh my god.
Sorry, yeah. What were you saying? What else? Haunted places. So yeah, there's heaps.
Yeah, Helensburgh
There's,
Tunnel. There's one in
hospitals
Picton.
that you can
yes,
visit.
hospitals.
Hospitals.
Yes.
Yeah.
What hospital?
There's
know.
there's
Guys, do you wanna do it one day?
I wanted.
Let's
I
go.
was about to go into this. It was a old. What is it called? Man, I can't find my words. Like a mental like
Oh,
a
yeah,
mental
yeah.
asylum.
Oh.
Is
Yeah,
that what it's
yeah.
called? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an abandoned one.
That'd be crazy.
It's Quarantine Station. That's the one.
Ghost
Yes.
tour. Oh, ghost tours.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
ghost. Oh my god, I want to go on a ghost.
Oh my
tour.
god,
Would you
let's
go on a ghost
go.
tour?
Let's go. There's one at the Rock.
Real life phasmophobia.
That's real life.
Yeah.
Real life phobia. Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, no, you can do ghost tours here. There's a station at MacArthur Park or not MacArthur Square, but one of those stations is very haunted. I know that. Like internationally known haunted. So yeah, apparently there's a lot of haunted places here in Australia. I guess that kind of ghost is like just like a translucent figure.
Right.
Yeah, well we have different types.
Right.
I don't know why we have different.
What's his name? Casper.
Casper, yeah.
Well, that's like the most known ghost, right?
Casper. See Casper everywhere throughout Australia.
Yeah, just the same thing. Ooh.
Same Casper.
Yeah. Yeah, there's actually none. I mean, like, specifically for Australians. I'm
Exactly
thinking,
right.
you know, it'd be interesting to find out if, like, Indigenous Australians ever... Because I know they're very spiritual.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they believe in...
Probably.
Yeah.
I would say so.
I mean, they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. We
Yeah.
should look into that.
We should look into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that makes us different in a way. Like, I feel like I'm never able to talk about these things with, like, my other friends.
Yeah.
Especially friends who are not only Asian but not Muslim as well, which we'll get into that in a moment. But, like, did you guys ever have the experience of talking about these things with your non-Asian / Muslim friends?
No,
Like,
I never really spoke to anyone about these things.
Yeah.
I have.
You have?
I just tell it out loud. That's just
Oh my
me.
god. But how
are
would
they-
their reaction
Yeah.
be?
I reckon they'd be
Yeah.
skeptical, no? They'd be like, no way.
No, they'll be like, oh, cool story, but
Cool story, bro.
Sorry,
But they don't really like say, oh, I don't believe in that, or I don't believe in you, or whatever. It's just like, oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's
That's good.
respectful.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Oya?
I remember when I was younger, I used to love like having telling ghost stories with one another, but it wasn't real stories. They were just like made up tales. So like that, but it was never. Yeah, I never had a chance to talk about experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
No, same with me, I think. The only thing that I did, because I grew up with a lot of Muslim friends, so we would, going into the next topic, being Muslim, we believe in angels, believe in jinn. Skye, do you want to explain what jinn are? Shout out to Jinn from Specs.
I was like, what? You're gonna shout out Jin?
No,
funny
we've got to
You
make
know the
called
game
Jinn.
Tekken? There's like characters
Yeah!
called Jin. That's the thing. I found out like
Yes.
last week.
Wait, what? Say it again. He was.
There's a character called Jin and Double Jin. He turns into.
Oh yeah.
the devil.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically.
yeah,
I
that's
love
love
everything.
Tekken. I
Tekken's
love
so
Tekken.
Same. Tekken's fun.
Yeah.
What's his dad's name?
His name's Kazuya, and then his dad's
Oh,
name
the
is
grandpa.
Heihachi.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Heihachi.
He reminds me of my dad.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Don't you think? Heihachi. Oh no, sorry, not my dad, my grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying your dad is Kazuya?
Nah, mate.
Nah, man.
Nah.
Shout out to
Who?
my dad.
Oh, ew. No, that's not shout out.
Ew.
Don't shout out my dad.
Why not? I shout out to Itzy and Afs.
Yeah, that's.
Itsy
is my-
Spitsy
the nickname for my
Spider.
mum.
Okay.
Afs is my dad.
Yeah.
Their full names is Iftar and Afriza, but we.
Oh, question. Sorry, this is
Yeah.
random. In
Yeah.
Singapore, Singaporean, do you guys say
Yeah.
tante and om, or do you refer to it as something else?
Oh, we just call them Bibi and
What's bibi?
it's like
So
auntie.
okay, so like tante.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's
Oh
interesting.
yeah, no, yes, yep.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
B-I-K.
Yep.
And what's
basically.
the guy version?
Oh, we just call them uncle.
Oh,
Uncle, yeah, that's it.
Bibi and uncle.
Bibi and
uncle,
uncle,
basically.
mate.
Love that. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah,
Okay,
we call it tante for the ladies. Like
Tante, yeah.
Yeah.
tante and om for
Yeah.
the men.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bibi is actually what we call our like helpers of the house.
Oh, so like the
Like
the
the-
maids,
like the
right?
maids.
Yeah.
We call it bibi. Do you guys call it?
Oh.
No, I
I don't
don't.
know.
Just call him bat.
Yeah,
Yeah, we call it
guess so.
mbat as well. Mbat is more of like what you would refer to, like you'd call me mbat because I'm older than you.
Oh, okay.
I'd call her mbat because she's older than me. But obviously I'm not gonna call him mbat, and you're not gonna call me mbat. But like
Yeah.
traditionally, if like say someone's serving you at a restaurant and they're about the same age as you, but you think they're older than you, then you'll call them mbat.
Oh, okay.
For the man, for the guy, like he's older than me, I'll call him mas.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of Mas before.
You've
though,
ordered
but
mas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one I've had before.
Yeah.
Little crash course there.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was I saying?
Sorry,
This
I
is all from
completely.
on Adele.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
we're
yeah,
talking about gin.
Yeah, gin.
It's always this one that steers us away from the subject.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry,
oh,
keep
Skye,
going.
what gin
I
is?
don't know. basically is just like an evil being, right?
Apparently, not all of them are.
Not all of them.
Not all of them.
I just think that they're like the devil. So, you know, it's like...
Basically, yeah.
No. So my mum, I don't. Okay, this is what I've learnt, but not all jinn are bad. Jinn is basically the opposite to angels. Angels is made out of light, and jinn's made out of smokeless fire. So that's why you can't see any of them. So with jinn, yes, they do follow the Satan's, sayings like, oh yeah, temptation, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But some jinn are actually nice. So my mum used to say that, like, if you like encounter a jinn, so like don't be afraid, basically, because all they can do, the worst that they can do to you is tempt you.
Oh yeah.
And if you let them, if it's a bad jinn, if you're weak and you're not strong, they'll possess you. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I feel
But
like I've
you
heard that
always
from
had
my
the connotation
mum.
that they're bad.
That they're all bad.
Yeah. Because they do have the potential to be bad. But that's what my mum's always taught me with supernatural stuff, because again, she's very believing in this. She always says to just not be scared, because that's when you're weak and that they can influence you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. What kind of idea did you guys have with like jinn, and Mirza?
No, my connotation with them is just they're all bad.
They're all bad
Yeah,
as
that's
well.
pretty much it, really.
Like the devil.
Yeah. I guess that's why as I grew up, the way my mum taught me about this stuff, I've never really been scared about it. I've always just been like, okay, cool, yeah, they're here. I kind of believe them. They're just chilling with me, whatever. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no, I remember the first day I met Jin, who works at our place.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hi, my name's Jin," and I'm like, and I remember talking about it with my other Muslim co-worker. She's like, "Oh my god, I reacted the same way." But yeah, Jin's always like a taboo word. I don't know. I feel if we're talking about it too much, something bad will happen. Inshallah, no, nothing bad will happen. But yeah, they're just these beings that like kind of work for the devil and and stuff like that. But yeah, what are your guys' knowledge about like angels and stuff?
I don't know. I don't really have knowledge.
Yeah, I don't really have knowledge.
All I know is like there's a good side and a bad side. I'm not sure to see.
There's an angel Homer on the
That's what I mean. That's what I imagine. That's what I imagine.
You know, this is kind of off top. Well, it's kind of related, but not. I remember, so back in Najee days, so we had like Islamic
Do you know
school.
what Najee? Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
When we were kids, and I remember there was this one lesson. It's forever ingrained in my brain because ingrained in my brain. Is that
Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, like it's just stuck there.
It's stuck ingrained.
Because it happened at my house. So my Najee teacher, he brought this CD. I kind of forget the story about it because I was still young. And it was basically like miners or something. They were like digging into the ground, obviously somewhere, and they got like really deep within the Earth's core. And you know how the Earth's core is like really hot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He apparently they started hearing sounds and like of people like crying and like asking for help, and like I think he brought in to say that that's where like hell, like that's where people go like when they what's it called? I'm not explaining myself well, but it's like the sounds of like people in hell. Like
that's
so but it sounded really like I think it was real.
So you watched it and you heard it.
You can only, it was only audio.
Okay.
So yeah, you can just hear like you can hear like like fire kind of, and then you can hear like,
that's
the people's-
chat.
Shout out to anyone who was Najee back with me back in the day because they would remember that. It's like as kids hearing that.
Oh my god, that's
we
like
were
so
like
traumatizing.
Yeah. I know, but it was to like make us not do bad. You know.
But as kids are like, I'll be scared. But now I'm thinking about it, it's like, oh, it's fake.
I don't think it was fake. I think
Because you can't go to a deep core of Earth.
Well, it wasn't the core, but it was like
Getting close.
Getting close.
Yeah. Where it was really hot because you know how in those it gets really hot.
Yeah. You know, there was one quick story about how apparently, I don't know if this is a true story, but they used to say that, wait, didn't one of the astronauts convert?
What? Neil Armstrong?
I don't know.
He's the only one I know.
I don't know if he converted or he recorded when he was in space. So I'm pretty sure you guys know from basic physics knowledge that sound can't travel through space because there's no air. There's no, like, space is like a vacuum, basically. So sound can't travel through there, right? But when he was in space, I don't know which astronaut this is, but he heard the adhan.
Stop it.
I'm not kidding.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So he heard the adhan, and I don't know if he converted or I don't know which. If anyone is here watching YouTube, or if you comment on our Instagram page, if you know what story I'm talking about, I heard this from somewhere. It's either from school or whatever, but yeah, apparently he heard the adhan. He either recorded it or he reported it back, and he either converted or not. But yeah, that's a bit of a weird story. Yeah.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. But yeah. Marshall. Why am I repeating after you? But yeah, moving on from that, have you, what are your, have you had any experiences, or what do you feel about going away from ghosts and jinn and angels, spirits, human spirits that have lived before, like your family members or anything like that? Have you guys had any experiences with that?
Not really. Not really. No.
The only experiences that I have had was in my dreams. So every time I'd say this back to my mum, I'd only have these kind of dreams with people that have passed away, which is a little bit weird, but I wouldn't have dreams about family members in a way that I do with people who have passed away. So for example, my mum's dad, who's passed away already, I'd have dreams about him being very proud of me, being very happy, just something that's very meaningful, unlike a normal dreams that I have of people that are still alive around me. And whenever I tell my mum, she'd be very happy because she would really believe that that's actually his spirit in my dreams. But yeah, you guys haven't had any experiences like that at all?
I have family members who have passed away, and then other family members have had experiences like that, where they would like either feel them or like see them or like dream about them, but I've never experienced anything like that.
Interesting. Yeah. Any of you guys who have stories? Any ghost stories or about any family members or anything like that? Comment. Shout out to Nadia, by the way, for posting that rude comment on how
it got blocked.
He got blocked
off YouTube. Yeah.
She tried to comment and he got blocked, but yeah.
The big sad.
The big sad. Yeah.
Big sad.
But yeah, hopping off the topic of like spirituality, since you're here being a Singaporean Australian, we just wanted to do a little crash course or a little introduction on the differences or similarities between our cultures. Okay. We've already explained our culture from previous episodes. What do you feel is very staple to like Singapore? What really defines you guys?
I feel like Singapore is just a really clean country. They really...
The cleanest!
Yeah.
Every time I stop by Singapore, I like want to kiss the floor on the bathroom.
You probably could.
You probably could, yeah. Exactly
Yep.
right, yeah.
Oh,
and they
I
really
love
reinforce
Singaporean
it too. So you're not like even allowed to chew gum. You get fined if you get fined chewing gum. So they don't even sell it. But actually you can buy somewhere else and bring it in. And
You
chew it
can't
at
even
home.
sell it?
No,
they
don't
don't
even
even sell it?
Yeah, they don't even sell it.
Wow.
That's why. Yeah. So
I
it's
remember
super
when I was
clean.
crossing the border from Malaysia, we had gum and we were quickly like chewing it. Quick, and then we'd have to throw it away.
I wonder what they stick under tables at school. Because you know how that's such a
it's
staple
such a thing.
Australian
Yeah,
thing.
staples.
Like, I wonder what they stick
What do
like.
they stick up there?
No, you know what they do? They clean it. They freaking clean it.
Clean the table in the spare time.
I was like, all right, who's messing with my table today?
Here we go.
They freaking bring Ajax to school, bro. And like,
That sound.
Windex.
Hey, like the teacher, stop cleaning up that table.
They get in trouble.
Report to the principal's office for cleaning.
Are you cleaning again?
I'm confiscating that.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh man. Well, obviously, then you've never been to school in Singapore, have you?
No, never.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Have any of you been to school in Indonesia?
No.
Because
No.
I have.
Actually.
That's really weird.
For a brief moment. I remember I was in kindergarten or year 1, but it was only for a little bit. Yeah. So
That's weird. You were enrolled for like a month?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a month.
But to be fair, it was my grandmother's school. She was the principal. So she was like, oh, this is my granddaughter. And like, you know, yeah. So anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on. Yeah.
Yeah, very clean country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like it's really similar anyways, the culture. Like whenever
We're
you guys
definitely
mention
not clean.
Yeah, we're
But
not clean.
yeah, but the things
We're
that you
opposite.
mention, it's like I'm familiar with it as well. Like the different type of ghosts, the food, like some of the words I recognize as well.
Yeah.
So it's very, very similar in a way.
Yeah, well, to be fair, with Singapore, it's mainly like Malaysian people, yeah.
Yeah.
And Chinese?
And Chinese, yeah. That's
Yeah.
And
right.
Indians as well.
Indian as
Yeah, and
well.
Indians, yeah, it's very diverse.
That's so interesting. I wonder
Yeah.
why. Like, how they...
I think they built the country using.
Well, they kind of
Well,
they kind of separated from Malaysia, right?
yes, they
They
separated Malaysia, but
Yeah,
They made their own country,
yes, yeah.
and that's why.
that's why Malaysia and Singapore are like very similar as well.
Yeah.
Because they've got all this same cultures, all the different type of races as well.
Yeah.
Do you know why they separated?
I'm not too sure, to be honest.
Jin
not
explained this to me.
Jin, did he? Oh, yeah, he did.
Jin,
didn't he?
because Jin's Malaysian,
Oh.
and he explained to me that it was because a lot of the Muslims hated the Chinese.
Really?
So the Chinese were like, fuck you, built their own country and separated
They're
them.
freaking rich
whereas-
now.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
rich.
I remember
so-
learning about, like, Singapore in uni and how they're, like, coming up there with being, like, one of the most economically
I love Singapore.
Because
advanced
they
countries.
are
Yeah.
so like they're luckily located in like all the main cities like
Yes.
Indonesia, Malaysia. You got
Yeah.
like Hong Kong nearby as well. So it's kind of like a hub for
Right.
Southeast
Yeah.
Asia.
Yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
It's true.
Dude, oh my god, that famous market, the food market, where it was
Oh.
also in
Yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians.
The Infinity
The
Pool.
Singaporean, you
Oh,
haven't
I
watched
always
it,
see
that.
that
Yeah, the
movie. You haven't watched
I
that
haven't
movie,
watched it,
have you? You need to
actually,
watch
yeah.
You
it.
need to watch. It's actually good. I liked it.
But
Yeah.
oh my god, that food market had everything. It had
Yeah.
Malaysian, had Indonesian.
Wait,
had
have you
Chinese,
been?
Had yes.
Oh, you've
Yeah,
been.
I had the Singaporean crab there.
Oh,
I had
the best.
like dumplings there. I had every single Asian cuisine you could think of. It was such a great atmosphere because although everything's halal, you've got like people that are halal. What I love about the Singaporean culture is that they accept the fact that there's other religions there.
Yeah.
So there's
cater
other
to
people
everyone.
out there like full drinking and like having the time of their lives, but they're still like respecting that. Like they respect each other, which
Yeah.
I love about Singapore.
Yeah.
The sad thing about when you're going back to Indonesia is that those things are frowned upon and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So it's only accepted when you're in clubs. Like you can't take that outside.
Yeah.
And like as much as I love Indonesia, that's what I love about living here is that I can express myself in that way. I'm not gonna go and fucking drink till I pass out and like take drugs and shit like that. But like everyone's different. Everyone expresses themselves, has fun their own way, and I see that in Singapore.
Yeah.
So I just had the greatest time sitting there and just watching everyone just have the time of their lives, basically. So yeah, definitely recommend. Do you know what that food market's called?
No, I can't remember.
No?
It's been a long time.
For some reason, Hoka comes in my mind.
I
I don't know.
That's Indo.
don't know.
I really don't know the name, to be honest.
No, it's very great. And even my 14-hour layover at Singapore,
Well, that's a long ass
airport was
layover.
the best thing ever.
What's
it
their
was the best
airport
thing
like?
ever.
Apparently, it's really
Oh,
nice,
It's
right?
amazing.
It's amazing.
I think I always see photos of that fountain, that huge
so
fountain.
Yeah,
in the
it is
middle of
so
the
nice
airport.
actually. Yeah, and there's so many. There's actually a cinema.
What?
That's where I slept.
Cinema.
Oh, why didn't you watch a movie?
We sneaked in, and like Coco was playing. You know that good Disney.
Yeah, I
movie?
love that movie.
And then I was
Okay.
like, I remember going in and out of sleep, and then I was just laying on the bed, laying on the chair, and then all my mates were asleep, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna finally go to sleep now. So that was our plan, to go in there and just sleep. And like no one told us off, no one said anything. We just slept in there, and then we walked around some more, had breakfast, visited the there's a butterfly dome as well. As well as a
Yes, there's a
sunflower,
butterfly dome. I
a
remember
sunflower
that,
garden as well. Like there's everything
Literally
there.
everything.
I love Singapore.
Probably because they know so many people do layover.
The transit,
Yes.
yeah.
Transit, yeah.
But yeah, it is rated as one of the best
Airports.
airports in the
Airports
world.
in the
Yeah, that's
world,
correct.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely recommend.
Going to the airport. Just the
Going to the
airport.
airport. Yeah, just the airport.
just if you're going anywhere and your layovers in Singapore, like
Just
book it.
Yeah, book it.
book it.
You can book a hotel in the airport.
Yes.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
hotel there.
Wow.
But
Good
I
on
remember
ya.
we ventured out for a little bit, took a taxi and like explored Singapore, like the main city, and what's the
Marina Bay Sands.
yes, there saw that. That's really amazing to see with your own eyes, by the way.
It is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It is crazy.
I'll see if I can find a photo of the one that I took. But yeah, so many lights. I just love Singapore.
I gotta go.
Have you? You haven't been?
I have, but I was like 5 when I went.
Oh,
Yeah.
have you been?
Yes,
Yeah.
outside.
Do you go
Yeah,
often?
yeah.
Not very often, maybe like every few years that we go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Always changes actually. There's always like a new building.
It's always
and it's like-
developing
Yeah, it's always
and innovating.
developing.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Updating.
Good on them.
Yeah, good on him.
If only Indo could get on that level.
But there's
bro.
also a new Apple store as well. I've been always seeing like a big
Actually.
globe
Wow.
circle.
Oh, I've
Oh my
seen
God.
that.
I may have seen that.
I mean, yeah.
It's in the main city, right?
Globe.
You may see, but it's like out in the ocean, like
What's
in
the
the sea.
capital city of Singapore?
Isn't
Do
it
they
just
have one?
Singapore?
Just
Oh.
Singapore.
It's a city
Never mind.
country.
It's a
yeah.
city country.
Ah.
It's a city country. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
okay.
city country. Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, so we've come to the Indo word of the day. How do you translate that? Indo word. What's word?
Kata.
Kata.
Yeah.
Kata. Hari.
Oh, kata Indo.
Kata.
I don't have
Hari
the
kata
brains.
Indo. I don't know. I don't fuck knows. Anyway.
Why did you even bother to try that?
don't know.
And then-
Anyway, sticking to the topic of today's episode, the Indo word of the day is hantu. Can you guess what hantu means?
Ask these guys.
Hantu.
I don't know.
I'm gonna hantu you.
It's not shank, mate.
Shank.
Thinking of the topic of the day, of this episode. Have a guess.
I don't know. Scary.
Demon.
Ghost.
Ding, 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 ding. Hantu.
Ghost.
So hantu means ghost.
Ghost.
Ah,
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you see a hantu,
don't tell us.
Hunt it down.
oh,
down.
God.
Hunt them down. Oh my.
Bloody hell. Just a
Damn.
quick check up on you, Mirza. What words have you learnt already from Indo word of the day? Just to catch up on you real quick. This guy doesn't know jack shit about Indonesian. So what have you learnt? 1,
Jepo.
cebok.
Yeah.
Which means
Oh yeah.
oh my god, that's so good. Okay, you've got cebok.
I forgot the other ones now. Oh.
What did we do last week?
I know there was something about the mole, but I forgot.
Do you know what bite means?
Diet. That's it. It's diet.
I feel like. What does it mean?
Means shit.
Oh.
Thai.
Yeah, Thai.
Thai,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Thai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bite laler. I don't know if you know what that
That
is.
one I don't know.
It's
Never heard
fly. That's what we call mole. That was
Oh, we call it
Thai
lala.
laler.
Oh, Lala. Yeah,
Yeah,
same
we
thing.
can
Same
say
thing.
it
Say it as
Yeah,
well.
Oh,
Thai
okay.
laler, Thai
Yeah.
laler,
Lala.
anything like that.
Okay.
Anything else?
I forgot
Come
the-
on,
I
Mirza,
forgot
you just know cebok? Are you serious?
I just need to know how to run my ass, okay?
After 15 episodes.
After 15
I'd like to
episodes,
say-
he's learnt cebok.
Jeb-
Yay!
A for effort.
A plus.
Fucking hell. Yeah, one last thing I do want to say is that we're very happy about Victoria being COVID free at the moment. I don't know if you guys heard the news. We probably would be posting this episode quite late after.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
a bit late then.
Hopefully by
Victoria's
then
stay
still,
COVID-free,
yeah.
but we just know that, like, especially in Australia, Victoria has experienced the worst when it comes to COVID, and being COVID free for 28 days is absolutely amazing. So
Are we
anyone
COVID
living-
free?
No,
Oh.
not for that long. So the fact that Victoria was the worst in Australia for the fact that they've been free for, like, no deaths, no new cases,
Yeah,
anything like
yeah.
that, that's just crazy amazing. So yeah, I just wanted to end it
Good
on
on
a
ya.
light note. Obviously talking about ghosts and shit like that, we just want to, make it a little bit brighter. But big thanks to Skye.
Yay,
for
thank
being
you,
our
Skye.
episode. Yeah. Did they have fun?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah.
She's like,
That's
no,
good.
thank you. I'm not
Yeah.
doing this ever again.
Unsubscribe
I'm
to
gonna leave
Shut
now.
Never recommend.
Yeah.
But no, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
being
Thank you.
here.
Thanks for inviting
Thank
me.
you for sharing your stories. I hope your mom's okay with you telling the
Yeah, she's
stories.
fine. Yeah. I investigated her.
But yeah, anyways, thank you so much. Hope you had fun. Another reminder again, guys, please subscribe. Hope you guys had fun. And again, my name is Sam.
My name is Amirza.
I'm Oya.
And this is Skye.
Skye.
Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.
That rhymed. Do we all love Japan here?
Yeah.
Have you been to Japan?
Yeah.
Oh, freaking love Japan, mate.
She used to be a fire attendant.
You used to be a flight attendant? Are you? Oh my god! Are you friends with our mums?
Both their mums were flight attendants. I told you about
you told
this.
me.
Yeah.
You told me about this.
Wow, what airline?
Air Asia.
Wow, that's so cool!
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. Well, you don't work there anymore.
No,
but-
you.